Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tuesday Night Special. And now it's time for us to talk about what happened during the second half of Monday Night Raw from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And according to the Maestro, we got the whole Asuka, Becky Lynch, and I guess Eric Rowan going up against AK Ojo match mixed up. And yeah, that was the name of the kid who fought against none other than Eric Rowan. And what we're saying is that it's a bearded dragon inside of that makeshift cage. Or something more horrific than that. Probably a Markland beast, I don't know. But despite that guessing game of what's in that cage, folks, the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw would be none other than the phenomenal AJ Styles going one-on-one against Akira Tozawa. And I was expecting a 5-star classic out of this match, but after the opening flurry of one Akira Tozawa during this match, AJ Styles will be able to combat back with a phenomenal forearm, and instead of going for the pin and for the Styles Clash, he decided to mix things up. And especially after getting embarrassed by Randy Orton last year, he would decide to do Randy Orton's hesitation DDT and even hit Akira Tozawa with an RKO to win the match in the same way Randy Orton probably would have, via pinfall. And to continue with the Randy Orton antics, folks, he would not only do Randy Orton's signature pose during the match, but in a post-match interview backstage would do the same thing again. So yeah, he's obviously trying to get physically and mentally prepared for what he has to face off next week in Louisville, Kentucky when he fights against Randy Orton. So yeah, I guess he doesn't have to wait until WrestleMania to fight against the Viper. Right. And immediately after the match was over, folks, and something that got cut off TV was apparently there was a guy in a blue suit trying to get into the ring and would get immediately tackled over by security, only to figure out that it was the preacher from last year who tried to get Bobby Lashley and Lana married. And after that little fiasco took place, Bobby Lashley and Lana would finally get married in Oklahoma City, only for them to just air out Rusev after what happened last week and all of the exes that came out that tried to interfere with the happiness and love of one Bobby Lashley and Lana. Only for Lashley to get interrupted by none other than Rusev, who was having a wonderful vacation in some form of island, I'm guessing Aruba, and for him to just make a photo album of one of the most beautiful weddings of the decade to take place on Monday Night Raw, for everything to go horribly wrong, and for Bobby Lashley to immediately challenge one Rusev next week, for Rusev to say that next week you're gonna get the Bulgarian Brute, and whatever's left after I'm done tearing you apart, Lana can happily have. And later on that night, before R-Truth could celebrate his record title reign as the 24/7 champion, one Liv Morgan would go ahead and get on the microphone and say, well, since Lana's gonna be in the corner of Bobby Lashley, I'm gonna be in the corner of one Rusev next week on Monday Night Raw during their match. Even though she really didn't say it, but she ended up saying during that night that that's something that she would really love to see, or live to see. Get it? Because her name's Liv Morgan, she would live to see. Whatever. Anyway, immediately after that challenge, another member of the Riot Squad would go one-on-one against Charlotte Flair in the form of Sarah Logan. And Sarah Logan, who has a brand new attitude and since being 1/8 of a Viking now, would take out her Viking rage on one Charlotte Flair by not only hitting her with the first, actually second, thanks to the fact that Eric would be able to do this during the Tag Team Championship match, but we completely forgot to mention it, would be able to do a tiger knee right to the face of one Charlotte Flair on the outside of the ring, and the match wouldn't even get started because Sarah Logan would be out there to send the message by beating the crap out of one queen known as Charlotte Flair, only for Charlotte Flair to get the upper hand and the rage she needed to combat her after Sarah Logan would disrespect the robe of one Charlotte. And something you just don't do to a Flair is mess with their signature robes, because then she would counteract with a spear on the outside of the ring and then kick her in the face after Sarah Logan would give a couple of good rights and lefts trying to light up Charlotte, only for it to be ineffective and for Charlotte to put on her robe and then just kick the dirt behind her right in the face of one Sarah Logan for her to win this makeshift fight in a match that went absolutely nowhere. You know, that's the new year, folks. That's the new year. And immediately after that match, folks, speaking of matches that seemed to went nowhere for people, the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw would feature No Way Jose going one-on-one against the Scottish Terminator himself, Drew McIntyre. And during this match, the Scottish Terminator would live up to his name by eliminating members of the Conga line by not only doing a headbutt to one of them, or should I say a glass cow kiss, and would even end up throwing the hamburger over the stairs and Beal throwing him to points unknown. And according to the Maestro, it was the hula guy that he threw over the stairs, but the hamburger actually got belly to belly on the ground, didn't he? Something happened to him. All I know is he was on the ground while, No Way Jose was getting the crap kicked out of him in the center of the ring. And he would suffer not only the wrath of the Future Sock DDT, but then would get a countdown to Doomsday in the form of a boomstick-like Claymore from one Drew McIntyre for him to win this match via pinfall. And after the match was over, he would say to the fans in Oklahoma City, "How many of you out there wants me to Claymore kick him again?" For the fans to go, "Yeah, one more time, one more time." And with the microphone still in his hand, would be able to deliver another devastating Claymore kick to the face of one No Way Jose. And then would toss him to the outside of the ring, causing all the members of the Conga line to be debilitated on the outside of the ring, and that's how the hamburger fell over. Thank you, Maestro. But after all the fun and games, folks, he would announce that he hadn't had one fair shake at the WWE or Universal Championship since he's gotten here. So since nobody's man enough to give him that shot, or since he can't get that shot, he's gonna take it by entering in the Royal Rumble match. And would say that not only Randy Orton, Eric Rowan, and I do believe a couple of other litany lists of superstars, even Roman Reigns, is currently in the Royal Rumble, and he doesn't care who's in the Royal Rumble, because by the end of it all, there can only be 3, 2, 1. Now, I know he was gonna go for the Highlander thing and say there can only be one, but come on. You should have went with the Highlander line, but we'll accept it regardless. And like we said last year, folks, our money is definitely on Drew McIntyre to go home, your winner of this year's Royal Rumble, to Claymore kick the head off of Brock Lesnar. And I'm really hoping that happens. Really hoping that happens. And after that match, folks, the next match we have up on Monday Night Raw would feature none other than Aleister Black going one-on-one against Shelton Benjamin. Man, I love Shelton Benjamin. And during this match, he would prove why in the world I love his in-ring performance, because not only he would be able to go kick for kick with Aleister Black during this match, but he would even be able to counter a, crossface attempt by Aleister Black by lifting him up in the air into a modified electric chair drop during the said contest. But ultimately, yeah, just when I thought Shelton Benjamin had the upper hand after he got bounced off the ropes and hit directly in the face with a tiger knee, he would then fade to black like everybody else would, with a black mass right to the head, and for Aleister Black to win this match against a game Shelton Benjamin via pinfall. But before Aleister Black can enhance his calm and celebrate during this match, or just do his Indian-style pose in the center of the ring, yeah, Buddy Murphy would come from out of nowhere and beat the Daylight's flag tag out of him. Not only hitting him in the head, throwing him into the ring barricade and hitting him with a tiger knee of his own, but then would get a steel chair and say, "I can beat you," put it underneath his chin, and then hit him with a last devastating iron tiger knee right in the center of the ring for him to get the last laugh against one Aleister Black, and for a rematch to take place next week on Monday Night Raw. And I got a feeling with that little action that he did, it's going to be more fuel for the fire for him to get his lights kicked out by Aleister Black. And the next match and the main event for the evening would feature none other than the Ipso Factor leader of the Nation of Violence, Samoa Joe, teaming up with the Frankenstein monster, Kevin Owens, and a mystery opponent to go up against the team of Seth Metal Seth Rollins, who now calls himself the Monday Night Messiah, teaming up with the Authors of Pain in a 3-on-3 match. And if you're wondering who was the partner after a whole night of who is it, and the fact that Kevin Owens had a chance to see who he is and say, "Oh, I'm not worried anymore," but I got a feeling that Seth Rollins and the AOP definitely needs to be worried, would be none other than, for the first time in 2 years, well, it's the Big Show. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Big Show, for the first time in 2 years, will return to in-ring competition as the mystery partner for both Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens. And would he make a difference during this match? Absolutely. Because not only he would swat away the AOP like if they were nothing, but also put a red mark on the chest of one Seth Rollins that would stick with him for the rest of the match, and chances are would definitely affect his breathing and strategy that he would have during this match, because in the later goings after, Seth Rollins would not only suffer a back elbow enziguri combination from Samoa Joe, and even a cannonball after a DX chop from one Kevin Owens. This match will come to an end that again when the AOP was about to get double choke slammed, and next thing you know, Seth Rollins with a steel chair right to the spine of one Big Show, causing the team of Samoa Joe and company to win this match via disqualification. And after the match was over and Big Show was getting dominated on the ground with lefts and rights from Authors of Pain, and even a curb stomp attempt by one Seth Rollins that was stopped by Kevin Owens, the second Big Show reached his feet, punch right to the jaw, and lights out for one Seth Rollins, and the Messiah would have to be carried out in a Jesus Christ pose by the AOP for Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, and the Big Show to celebrate immediately afterwards to close out Monday Night Raw for this week. And I can't wait to see what in the world a fist fight is gonna be for next week for Monday Night Raw. But if it's anything like Wrestling Revolution, I guess it's the first person to get knocked down on the ground and not get up anymore is declared the winner. Or the person who's still standing that didn't get knocked on their duff is still the winner. Yeah, thanks for the correction, Maestro. And I guess with that said, folks, we might as well head back to this music, and when we return, we'll be back with more of the Tuesday Night Special right after this. So don't go anywhere just yet, folks, and stay tuned.